Hi guys, Livia here and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can mix and match a color in 5 simple steps. We'll go through some questions that you can ask yourself every time you're mixing a color. They'll help you keep on the right track when trying to match a goal color. So if you struggle to mix colors and would like to get better and more assertive with your color mixing, check this out. One thing that I've learned along the 2 decades of painting is that the science of color mixing goes beyond the books. It goes beyond what you know of the subject you're trying to represent. Color is relative, and there are quite a few things that affect the way we see color. Light is one of them, and be sure that your subject's color will look different under different light conditions. Proper observation to train the eye to see color with accuracy, and the understanding of the key elements of color like hue, value, saturation, and temperature, or color bias, will give you the foundation you need to mix colors more easily and assertively. Also, color use can be quite an emotional way for artists to express themselves. Most artists you might follow and like change the colors they see on their subjects to convey emotion. The cinema does that constantly, on post-production stage of the film, when they use a method called color grading. But I'm not going to the complex stuff at the moment. Instead, I'm going to show you a simple method to mix and match a color. Firstly, if you are a beginner, I'd suggest you to work with just a few colors, just the basic colors, to get used to each pigment and to understand how colors behave. And after that, you can add more colors to your own convenience and to save you time when you're mixing colors for your paintings. So the basic colors on my palette are French ultramarine blue, cyan blue or phthalo blue, green shade, primary yellow or lemon yellow. This lemon yellow here is Hensa yellow. So Hensa yellow is very close to the primary yellow. Primary colors are quite relative. Our material colors, they're not exactly primary as we know of. Each color will look slightly different according to different brands. So you just need to find what suits you. I quite like using Norma, made by Schmink, My Mary Puro, made by My Mary, Italian brand, Rowney, Aris oil colors. Usually I buy the professional range because the pigment quality is much better and they last longer in the long term. So it's easier to cover the canvas without having to apply many layers, if you know what I mean. It's more pigment, less oil, more expensive. While the student grade, there is less pigment, more oil and fillers, and they'll be cheaper. But of course, you just go with what you can afford at the moment. Especially if you are just trying out, you don't need to spend a lot of money buying something that you don't know if you're going to continue. You just buy the student grade, and that will be fine. You know, most known brands will be fine to start with. Cadmium yellow, either cadmium or chrome yellow. Chrome is quite strong as well, so I'm using chrome at the moment, the real chrome. And cadmium, red, medium, quinacridone magenta or primary magenta. In this brand here is called Ruby Red. So you need to identify what those primers will be called in the brands that you choose to buy. And just some titanium white as well. So that's about it with the basic colors. So firstly, it's quite important to know where those colors are positioned on the color wheel. So I got a color wheel here. So if I'm positioning those colors, say that I got my color wheel. So this is the yellow closest to the primary. This would go maybe here. That's similar to this color. And just looking at those colors on the edge, and not these ones inside of the other card. So the red maybe here or in between, I'd say here. ruby red. It doesn't show on this color wheel. I think printed color wheels, they don't really match our color tubes, but I'd say that this magenta that looks more like a pink, it would be into the red violet or somewhere in between here. So I think the red violet is just too violet. And ultramarine blue, it's like a blue violet, so I'd position this here. And this, all the blue about there. So it's more into the blue-green color instead of going that way. So here we go, that's the colors positioned. In 2013, I created a video for my color painting DVD where I showed the students how to match colors just by using some color swatches from a paint shop. And that's what I'm going to show you today so that you can practice and improve your mixing skills. So here are the colors: phthalo blue or cyan blue, ultramarine blue, magenta or ruby red if you're using normal by Schmink, made by Schmink, but it's just like permanent magenta, cadmium red, medium or light. I quite like the medium. Light sometimes tends to orange. This one here is beautiful. It's very similar to cadmium yellow. It's called chrome yellow, but you're probably better with the cadmium. Might be easier to buy. Hensa yellow or lemon yellow, and titanium white. So the next step is the mixing, and I'm going to show you that method with the steps, questions you can ask yourself when you're mixing color, and they'll make you translate color more easily. Translate what you see into what you can mix into the color you need to use for your painting. So the first step is to identify the hue, the main color you see out of the color wheel that you see on your subject, or in this case we're using the color swatches. So here, as I said, I can see that those two colors are more similar to what I need, so I'll be picking those two first. So here we go, let's start mixing. So first step, first question is about hue. What is the closest hue to my gold color? So the closest hue or color is orange. So I've got to mix red and yellow. This red because it's the closest to orange on the color wheel, and the warmer yellow as it's closer to orange as well. So then the next step or the next question is about value. How dark or how light this color is in relation to my gold color. We are going to adjust the value with some white first. Value is not too far away, I just need a little bit of white here. So as I add white, I notice that my color, it just reveals the yellow a little bit more out of my column. So I need a little bit more of this red here. And that looks slightly pinkish as well, so I might just add a bit of magenta and a bit more white. Need a little bit more red in that. That's about the value, maybe a little bit more white. So I'm adjusting the value. Well, that's very close now. So then the next step is the saturation. How vibrant or how grayish the color is. So this here is not a lot gray, but if I was mixing this purpley color, for example, that would be grayer. Skin tones like this here, for example, they would be different, a lot grayer. So let's see what we do here. I need a little bit more of this. Don't think we need to go any grayer than that. The saturation seems to be correct, but I'll go a bit grayer when I swap the card, so you can see how we can change the saturation of this color. That's pretty similar. So the next is temperature, color temperature. I probably adjusted here because I thought that, you know, the color was too orange. I added a little bit of this red, we call cool red or magenta red, just to make the color slightly cooler than what I've got at the moment. So color temperature. Then last step is the fine tuning. So some colors you need to tweak a little bit more, because sometimes by adding all the colors we end up making that color darker, and then you need to go back here and just tweak it, you know, with a bit of white, just to make sure you're matching that properly. So the first step is the fine tuning. So here we go. So I'll just put some of this against the card. It's not too bad. Happy with it. So I'll just save some, and I'm going to swap the card with this one, like skin tone, quite dull. So then I'd follow the same steps if I was starting from scratch. Would possibly start with this one, but I'll just go from here and show you how we can dull it. So I'd need more of this one, lots more white because this color is lighter. Then a little bit of blue. So blue is the color that will make this look a bit grayer, because that's the color that I haven't used yet. So blue and orange are opposites, are complement colors on the color wheel. So if I need to gray a color, any color of the color wheel, I just look at what's opposite to it, and then add a little bit, plus a little bit of white, and that pushes my color way towards the cool color. Ultramarine blue is better for graying this orange instead of phthalo blue, as phthalo would make my color go towards green. I squint my eyes just to be able to see the value better when I'm comparing the colors. See, this is more saturated than this. That means I need a little bit more blue into that mixture. So I'll keep adding it. Just be cautious here, because if the color is very close to what you want, you don't want to overdo this color temperature stage. Very close. See, by adding blue, I ended up making the value a little bit darker. So I'm going to go back and fine tune this. The more you do this here, the more you think about these questions and go through those steps, the easier it will become for you to mix color. So that's very close now. I'm happy with this. One color that a lot of students struggle to mix is this. So in New Zealand, there are a lot of lakes with this color. So it's kind of a greenish color, green-blue. I go with lemon yellow, which is the closest yellow to this. This is too warm, too orange. So I'd go with this here that appears to be slightly more towards the green side on the color wheel. Then a touch of this blue, because their blue is very, very strong. It's got a very powerful pigment. See, I put too much here. Oh, already. Anyway, so I'll put some white there. It might be all right. So I mix the color, green, close to it. So then now I go towards the value. Value is pretty close. I might just go a little bit bluer. I'm going to add some white just to adjust the value. Maybe a little bit more. So the next step is the saturation. Color looks too saturated. So I'm going to add probably a little bit of this here, because the temperature is a little bit off actually. That's better. So then more white again, more blue. Not too much at this stage. That's very close. Don't think I need any red here, to be honest, because only the ultra blue can tweak my color. That's it, just blends in. All done. So that's it with the color swatches. I could mix another one here, maybe this pink. So that would be very close to this. So I'm going to change value of this color by adding some white. And by adding white, the color became cooler, bluer. So I need a bit of this just to warm it up. Yay! Wow, magic. It's amazing how just a little bit of this cadmium red can make a difference, can change the color. Getting cooler again, so I need this. So now I'm changing the saturation as well by adding white. But this color is very saturated, so I don't need to do a lot about saturation. Color, temperature, that was too cool when I added white, as this red is very cool, very purple. So I added some cadmium and made the color a bit warmer. And then the final tweak, which was adding white and a touch of this red here. And I think we are pretty close. Oh, got some yellow on the way, that's it. Huh. Killed my color, see you. We need to avoid that. Let's see if we can mix that again here. Close enough. As you fine-tune this process, the color mixing will become more natural and easier. Now I'm going to propose to you another exercise to challenge you a bit more. You can improve your color mixing skills by observing your subject and seeing how light affects its colors. So an easy and simple exercise that I propose to you is to grab a few things. It can be a flower from your garden, some items, some fruit and vegetables, some vases, anything really, and see how light affects those objects. It's a good way for you to study your subject in its real flesh. So here, for example, I haven't got any lights on, artificial lights, just natural light coming from a window. Colors are quite flat at the moment. There is no contrast, not much contrast happening. I've got a desk lamp on the sides just to show you a few things about light effects. So I'll turn just the ceiling lights on. You can see how that changes. It just created a little bit more shadow on the lower part, and it's a bit lighter at the top because it's a ceiling light. If I turn this off and turn on the desk lamp, the light changes again. So now the light is on the side. It creates a bit of shadow on the other side, the opposite side of the flower. And that's the same, with those vases here, these little pots. So you can see how the color is very vibrant, very saturated here, because it's receiving the direct light, while here it's quite dark and in shade. If I move the desk lamp around, let's see if I can move this here. So light changes again, that's very close. Put the light on the top. This light is a cool day light. I move the light away, bring the light a bit closer. That's a backlight, and so on. So play around with some light, artificial light, and see what happens. So I'm going to take the flower and some of those things outside, and then we're going to see how the sunlight plays with it. Now we are outside, and it's an overcast day, so the colors, there's no direct sunlight, and the colors look quite flat. But we can still see a bit of warm and cool contrast, and so on. So let's see, let's get a bit closer. The colors next to the core of the flower appear to be warmer, and the colors on the tips and on top of the petal appear to be cooler because it's an overcast day. So the highlights will be reflecting the sky, reflecting the coolness of the sky, and so therefore the inner part will look warmer or more towards the orange or the yellow side, and by contrast. So the lower part of the flower is dark, slightly, let's say, duller or cooler in temperature because it's the table is white, which looks a bit grayish, and it reflects back onto the flower color. So so it's interesting to see the differences, in one petal, the edges and the core of the flower, different types of yellow there. So when you're mixing color, it's a lot about seeing the subtleties of the color change. So I had to go after another flower just up there in the garden because the one I had in the vase died because it took quite a few days for the sun to come out again. So see how the colors change. Very hard to capture that in the video camera. I took some pictures and they probably look better. The highlights look very white here, but on the photograph they look better. So in fact it's not white, it's just yellow, very vibrant yellow. The shadows are quite greenish, especially because of all the leaves surrounding the flower and the petals, so they reflect back onto the petals. So it's the opposite. It's a sunny day, so the sunlit areas will look warm and the shadow areas will look cooler, kind of greenish. And after a while, you will notice that this color variation happens in every object, like the other dahlia flowers, the soft pink, the vibrant pink. And this is one of the biggest challenges for beginners, is to see the color subtleties and bring the color language into your color mixing practice. But it's something that you can gain from continuous observation and analysis of the colors on your subject, the differences, compare the colors, compare the values, compare the saturations, all sorts of things. Use the color language to help you with that. And as you observe the color differences, try to apply the 5 steps to mix and match colors, and that way you can translate what you see into what you mix. And that way you can have a little bit more control of the mixing process as well. White objects are great to start with and gain more practice and knowledge about the values and the value differences, because in fact the white areas are quite minimum. They mostly gray, different shades of gray from light to dark. And also you see a lot of other colors, like reflected colors from the grass, in this example, from the sky on the shadows. It's a feast. If you look closely, you'll be able to see a lot of colors in there. This is Bamboo, that's my dog, Westy, and he's quite a happy chap. So there you have it. 5 steps and a few tips to help you get better at mixing and matching colors. If you liked this lesson, remember to subscribe to my channel for updates and more videos like this. Remember to tap the notifications bell so that you can get notified straight after I post a new video. If you'd like to see more color mixing tutorials, check the other lessons that I have here in my YouTube channel and you can benefit from it. And for more in-depth tutorials, you can go to my courses page on my website and check out what I've got there for you. The link is in the description area just below this video. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook to see what I've been working on at the moment, and also to get more instant updates. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Happy painting!